Congressman Troy E. Nels, Texas 22 here, an alien living illegally in our country for years doesn't mean they get to stay here forever. It just means they should have been deported sooner. True! My Remove Act requires an illegal alien to be placed in removal proceedings as soon as possible and gets them out at Trump speed.
My Democrat colleagues, let me make this very clear. An alien living illegally in this country for years doesn't mean that alien gets to stay here forever. It just means they should have been deported sooner. Should have been deported sooner. That's what this bill does. The Remove Act states that if you're here illegally, you must be placed in removal proceedings as expeditiously as possible. If you commit a crime that makes you more deportable, you must be placed in removal proceedings as expeditiously as possible. And once those proceedings begin, they must be completed within 15 days. 15. No more hanging out in the United States, committing crimes and taking advantage of public benefits for years while your fake asylum case is pending. No more gaming the system.
Please.
You're an illegal alien.
Please.
Your case is heard quickly, and if you don't have a basis to remain in the United States, you're deported, plain and simple. And that's what this bill does, and it's only common sense.
It is only common sense. Imagine being able to mass deport people in 15 days or less instead of having these dragged out years-long fucking shits. Please, I want it. Deport them harder, Daddy. Spartan, thank you. Based, now actually do it. Yeah, hopefully they actually do this. Because I would like to see that. I would like to see that happen. 15 days or less, please, fucking do it. Secretary Brooke Rollins, a 33rd U.S. Secretary of Agriculture. On my first day at USDA, we told every state to send us their SNAP data so we could make sure illegal immigrants aren't getting benefits meant for American families. 29 states stepped up, 21 blue states refused, and 2 sued us for asking. See, they shouldn't be able to do that. Like, you should be able to ask states, hey, can we see your SNAP benefit data so we know that you're not giving benefits to people here illegally? I feel like if a state sues you for asking this question, you should just be like, right, well, all of your government money's cut off now. Good luck, brother. Guess what? In just the states that cooperated, we've already uncovered massive fraud. The Democrat Party has turned its back on working Americans and built its entire strategy around protecting illegal aliens. Well, I'm glad she's caught up to where the majority of us have known we're at for the last decade or so. They know if the handouts stop, the illegals will go back home, and Democrats will lose 20+ seats the next census. There's a new sheriff in town. A POTUS will not tolerate waste, fraud, or abuse while hardworking Americans go hungry. This is something so many people have been saying for so many years, and even Republicans haven't done enough to roll back benefits being given to illegals. You can't just deport people. You have to have the mass deportations alongside getting rid of incentives to come here and stay here illegally, as well as giving massive fucking fines and even jail time to companies that profit off of hiring illegal immigrants. Every single part of this needs to be working in tandem to stemmy the flow. You can't just do one, you must do all.
Day one of USDA, February 13th, is we sent letters to every governor in America being very clear that no illegal aliens can use SNAP. 0, 0, 0. We asked every state for the first time in history, and this was in February, to send us their data and let us, with Doge and a war room, actually start going through this data to better understand how this explosion of SNAP benefits happened under Joe Biden. We increased almost 40% on this program in just a couple of years under the Biden administration. Of course, we know they were trying to buy the election, but that's a conversation for another time. And since we have asked for that data, 29 states have complied. Of course, almost all the red states, a couple of the couple blue states too. But in that data, and I haven't talked about this yet publicly, in that data we've studied about $100 billion in spend. We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card. We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off just since the president took office. We've arrested about 118 people. So this has been ongoing. But, Rachel, to your point, what this conversation has allowed is a national spotlight on a broken and corrupt program. We found one guy in 6 different states getting a benefit. We found about 5,000 people that are dead who are still getting benefits. Like, it is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away and we can serve the American taxpayer.
Because again, these programs are meant for actual struggling American families. People who genuinely need help are what goes under these kinds of programs. But instead, they have been used fraudulently by gajillions of people, a real number, by the way, for too fucking long. You've said it for the last decade. If a state blocks the federal government enforcing laws, the state should no longer get any federal funding. It's so tiresome how many blocks go up when the, feds actually try to do something. And it's like, man, I hate the government, but hey, at least you're doing something for fucking once. Your one solace is that we aren't nearly as bad as Canada yet. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. We might not have made, but things are pretty fucking bad. Afton Ben, the Democrat nominee for the upcoming Tennessee 07 special election, says that she despises Nashville, the city that she's running to represent in Congress.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and they're like, oh my god, Nashville is so bad!
They're so loud.
She looks kind of demonic, so checks out. And I was like, I would like to know a bit more. And she made a tweet sometime later. I don't know if it was a day later or whatnot, but she made a tweet that says, no, I don't hate the city I represent. The national GOP's new attack that I, quote unquote, hate Nashville. I've cried in the Country Music Hall of Fame no less than 10 times. What does that have to do with anything? They're panicking because we're close to winning. Eyes on the prize, y'all. Let's go. No, I didn't say that, even though it's recorded. That wasn't really what I thought. Don't believe them. That's a baseless attack. They're racist.
State Representative Afton Bain here, the Democratic nominee for the 7th Congressional Special Election in Tennessee. For those of you just joining in, I often record segments in my Jeep Wrangler called Wranglin' Time. Yes, there is a theme song, and no, I will not be singing it today. But yes, I will bring it back because I know a lot of you miss it, and you've said I sing well. So I look a little rough. I have bags under my eyes because the Republican eye of Sauron has finally shifted towards moi. And I'm sure you've seen the commercial.
Can you really call it an eye of Sauron if they didn't misrepresent what you said? They just literally posted the recording of what you said. I don't they didn't even take it out of context or remove words or add words that weren't there. I don't what.
I'm sure you've seen the onslaught of ads. And then today, the Republicans decided that they're going to start this narrative that me, the state representative who represents downtown Nashville, doesn't like the city. Now, I always want Nashville to be better, right? I want Nashville to be a place where working people can thrive, right? But sure, I get mad at the Bachelorette sometimes. I get mad at the pedal taverns, right? And you're talking to someone who has cried no less than 10 times in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
I feel like if you cry 10 times going to a Hall of Fame, I'm going to count as a museum, right? If you cry 10 times like that feels kind of disingenuous, don't it? I could understand, if you get really emotional maybe the first couple of times, but, after that, it seems kind of performative, you know?
The girl that just goes to the Ryman to hang out. No, we're not even gonna go there. We are so close to winning this race, which is why these rumors are getting more wild. So I can't wait to see what they come up with next. But y'all,
as a Nashville native, you hate what your city's become. It's parties, fake-ass country music, and the city council consistently defrauding the public. Also, fuck pedal. I don't even know what a pedal tavern is. I'm gonna be real with you. Going to the Hall of Fame and crying is fake as hell.
But y'all, please keep doing the work.
She said the thing. She said the thing! Ring the commie bell!
We had a huge group show up today to canvass in the middle of the afternoon. It was raining, it was wet, and this girl came up to me. She said, your campaign is inspiring so many of us across the state and across the country. Keep it up. And so you know what? I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, which is fighting to make healthcare and life more affordable for Tennesseans. And so I'm not going to take the bait. So let's go.
You can't really say you're not going to take the bait after you make a whole response video and it even took you 30 seconds to get into your response to what you are calling bait. What do you mean? We all heard you say, I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all the things that make Nashville, I hate it. But you're telling us you never said it, even though we all heard you say it. Yes, that's what they do. That is what all of them do. Don't believe your lying eyes and your lying ears. Listen to the lying words coming out of my mouth because I tell you what to believe. You already took the bait, you dumb bitch.
Stop falling for bait.
Oh my God. When the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, it was their final, most essential command. True. Kinda fucking wild. Imagine trying to lie about something like that, dude. This was the Democrats saying, we want to speak directly to members of the military and the intelligence community. The American people need you to stand up for our laws and our Constitution. Don't give up the ship. You know, the Constitution that most Democrats don't give a single fuck about unless they can use it to protect non-Americans.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
So wait, we have two glowies in here? We have two glowies in here trying to tell the military to not listen to orders? Huh, really makes you think how none of these people in this video should be in the positions that they have.
Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day.
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous...
No, you guys do not know what it means to keep Americans safe. None of you know what it means to keep Americans safe because you continuously do and vote for things that make Americans and people who immigrated here to become Americans unsafe. Like, what the fuck?
enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military.
Can you just imagine the irony for a second here of someone on the left saying Americans trust their military? Well, maybe if these were Republicans saying that, I'd be like, well, yeah, you know, that makes sense. But a Democrat saying Americans trust their military? Ain't no way, brother.
Professionals
Against American citizens.
Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Like being forced to take the COVID vaccine? How did that work out for the military members who didn't want to be forced to take a vaccine? How about, you know?
you must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
If I called them the slur that I want to call them, I would be immediately removed from every kind of facet of society. This is one of the guys from the video. Said, the President of the United States just called for my arrest and execution. In these moments, fear is contagious, but so is courage. It says, Donald Trump, seditious behavior punishable by death. And then he retweeted someone saying, hang them, George Washington would. And they expect us, I guess, to care about this being tweeted out when they have had their politicians calling for violence and death for how long now? Remember back in 2020, we need to give these people space to destroy? About when you elect Jay Jones and whatever the fuck that governor's stupid ass name is, who literally want to kill Republicans. I don't really care if the president says punishment for sedition is death. You know, like I don't really care. Why should I care at this point? Charlie Kirk who, right? Exactly.
This morning, President Donald Trump threatened to have me arrested and executed simply for reminding our service members of their oaths to follow the Constitution and to defend the rule of law.
Why are they upset? They
I've
called for
taken
his
many
execution
oaths
for
throughout my
treason
life.
plenty of times.
As a combat
Imagine.
veteran, a paratrooper, an Army Ranger, and now as a member of Congress. That is a lifetime oath for me. I will never stop defending it and upholding that sacred obligation. It's very telling that President Trump and those around him think it's criminal simply for asking people to follow the law.
Simply for asking people to follow the law. What illegal orders? And you know what's really funny when you say that? Simply following the law? When we ask you fucking crazy ass politicians to enact the law and get rid of criminals, get criminals off the street, get criminals out of our country, you whine and cry and throw a tantrum and do everything you possibly can to protect the criminals over the actual fucking citizens. So what the fuck are we doing here?
This moment requires moral clarity. Every American, regardless of your background, should unite and reject his calls for political violence. This is a moment that requires leadership. I intend to uphold my obligation, my oath, and to lead. Don't give up the ship.
JD Vance tweeted about this a few hours ago. Can we get that Vance tweet? Vance saying, if the president hasn't issued illegal orders, members of Congress telling the military to defy the president is by definition illegal. And he's responding to a tweet that says, Alyssa Slotkin admits Democrats lied about President Trump issuing illegal orders to the military.
Let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes and everything related to Venezuela.
I want more drone strikes on drug trafficker boats. I don't know what you mean, lady. I don't know what says the Globe. They feel illegal. Typical woman. Why is she not being recalled? She should not be in a position of power after that. It's international water and they're criminals, 100% legal. I am not you, thank you. Trump says the penalty for sedition is death. Democrats say he is saying they should be executed. What a curious thing to confess. It's a very interesting thing. Very interesting if you think about it. And then continuing on what these weird-ass people in that video said, Maggie Goodlander had a response as well. She said, 162 years ago today, President Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address. In less than 300 words, he pointed the way for us to honor the patriots who have given their lives to America by redictating ourselves to the American idea of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's what I'm working for here in Congress. Yeah, I just don't believe you. I think people like you are working against the people and against the people's interest in order to prioritize foreign interests and criminals for whatever fucking brain-damaged reason you do.
I'm here in the Capitol just getting ready to head to the floor to vote, and I'm remembering that today, 162 years ago today, marks one of the most extraordinary speeches ever delivered in the history of our country by the one and only Abraham Lincoln. He went to Gettysburg, where he was dedicating America's first ever veteran cemetery. And there he reminded us who we are as Americans, a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the basic proposition that we're all created equal. He reminded us that the way to honor those who have given the last full measure of devotion, who have given their lives so that our nation might live, is to rededicate ourselves to the basic principle of a government of, by, and for the people. And today, and every day in the day ahead, that is exactly what I'm working towards here in Congress.
Yeah, I just don't believe you in any way, shape, or form. I don't know who's running against this woman for when the state elections are, But hopefully, whoever's running against her ends up winning, because holy fuck. This guy, Adam Sexton, said, in a one-on-one at a WMUR9 interview, Maggie Goodlander explains her decision to participate in a video with fellow veterans serving in Congress and the U.S. Senate, encouraging active duty service members to refuse illegal orders.
I swore an oath to protect and defend this Constitution many times in my life, including when I served in the United States Navy Reserve. And we're living in a moment when our service members need to know that members of Congress have their back. And that's why I've joined together with my colleagues here in Congress to deliver a clear message that is a message
she was a fucking
in our
reservist.
Constitution,
I like how you said that.
of our country, and a deep belief in our service members who are so critical to who we are as Americans and to the safety of our country.
What do you say to other veterans who contend that you are putting service members at risk here, perhaps encouraging them to disobey orders?
I am absolutely not encouraging anyone to do anything other than to follow the law. And our laws are clear that you obey lawful orders and you do not obey unlawful orders.
Did you know that people die when they are killed?
We're just at the State House here talking to the Senate president. She's outraged by this video. She is now calling on you to resign over this. What's your response to that?
Adam, what I'm talking about here is a core constitutional principle. You take an oath to a constitution.
She's still attractive even though she's a Democrat. That's how they get ya. That's how they trap ya. Don't get pulled in by the Venus flytrap, my dude.
You don't take an oath to an individual president. I'm working around the clock to support and defend this Constitution and to stand up for our service members. And part of that responsibility means asking hard questions of our Secretary of Defense. And when I asked him what I thought was a very simple question about abiding by a decision of the United States Supreme Court, it was a stunning and extremely disturbing set of answers that we got. When he's been asked basic questions about whether he would issue unlawful orders, such as the kind of orders that past secretaries of defense, including secretaries of defense who have served under President Trump, refused to obey, we haven't seen that same kind of commitment to the Constitution. What we see is a trend of commitment to an individual president, and that is not what our country is about.
What? For the majority of what I've been watching, the majority of people both on the left and the right have worked to stop Trump from doing things at every turn. I have no idea what reality she's living in. Kash Patel tweeted out, or retweeted this thing that says, breaking, DOJ charges Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick, D. Florida, with stealing $5 million in FEMA funds, laundering the proceeds, and then using the money to support her 2021 congressional campaign. She faces up to 53 years in prison if convicted. Just give her all 53. I don't fucking care anymore. According to the indictment, the DOJ says Cherfilus-McCormick, 46, and her brother Edwin Cherfilus, 51, both of Miramar, worked through their family healthcare company on a FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract in 2021. In July 2021, the company received an overpayment of $5 million in FEMA funds. The indictment alleges that the defendants conspired to steal that $5 million and routed it through multiple accounts to disguise its source. Prosecutors allege that a substantial portion of the misappropriated funds was used as a candidate contribution to the Cherfilus-McCormick's 2021 congressional campaign, and for the personal benefit of the defendants. Yeah! Buy large mansion! The indictment also charges Cherfilus-McCormick and her 2021 tax preparer, David Spencer, 41, of Davie, with conspiring to file a false federal tax return. According to the indictment, they falsely claimed political spending and other personal expenses as business deductions and inflated charitable contributions in order to reduce her tax obligations. Imagine. This person said, I always wonder what the internal dialogue is when people in positions of power make these unethical decisions. Do you feel justified when doing this? Do you believe that you would maintain power indefinitely? Their internal dialogue is probably like, does it even fucking matter? I can do this and get away with it, and even if I get caught, nothing will happen to me. There's literally been no repercussions for any kind of fraud for so fucking long that it isn't surprising that so many people do it. It's just like a no-brainer. If you can keep getting away with it, why would anyone stop? And Kash Patel quote retweeted this saying, "This individual and her family allegedly stole money from FEMA and then laundered it through friends toward her own personal benefits, including her campaign accounts. Today, the FBI and partners at the Justice Department took action. No one is above the law. She didn't steal enough to be pardoned." Oh my God. Democrat Rep. Sheila Cherfilus says she was indicted for stealing $5 million from FEMA because she's black. "I didn't realize being black gave you the right to steal millions in disaster relief funds meant for devastated families." This guy said the race card never fails. She's going to have to face a jury of people whose community that money was supposed to go to. I'd imagine the race card isn't going to work very well in Florida. I hope she's cooked. I hope she's... Imagine stealing $5 million in disaster relief and trying to play the fucking race card. The audacity of this bitch.
Hi.
Any thoughts on the indictment, please?
Well, it's an unjust indictment, and it seems like these intimidation tactics have been pervasive. We spent all week seeing different members getting censured, all in hopes of intimidating and kind of distracting from the Epstein files. And I look forward to my day in court so I can...
Don't pay attention to me stealing $5 million in disaster relief funds. What about the Epstein files? I hate how the Epstein files have become like a distraction tool of like, well, we don't have the files yet, so you should never care about anything else and never pay attention to anything else, because where them files at, you should only focus on that. It's like, yes, yeah, I'd love more information. Well, we like that, but you can focus on multiple things, man. Shut the fuck up.
Prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much...
How dare you notice I have embezzled $5 million in funds? I'm black. You can't do that. This fucking woman.
Support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation of Congress.
Did you improperly use the FEMA funds?
Calls on some of your colleagues to step down or resign.
They didn't elect me. It was my district, and so we'll keep fighting for the people and keep working like we're doing now.
And keep fighting for the people by stealing their fucking money.
Until they get what they need. So we're here for the people. So the only people who elected me should make that decision. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, I agree with that, chat. She do remind me of the super mayor. If I steal pens and staplers, I get fired. They steal $5 million and get a slap on the wrist. Yep. Here comes the Epstein along with the race card. I'm so fucking tired, brother. So this guy, Congressman Greg Staubbe, representing Florida's Suncoast FL17, he said, "Tomorrow morning, I will be filing a privileged motion to censor Rep. Cherfilus-McCormick and remove her from all committees. This is one of the most egregious abuses of public trust I've ever seen. Stealing $5 million in taxpayer disaster funds from FEMA, of all places, is beyond indefensible. Millions of Floridians have relied on FEMA after devastating hurricanes, and that money was supposed to help real disaster victims. Once the House Ethics concludes their investigation or she is formally convicted, rest assured I will move to expel her from Congress." And I feel like that shouldn't take a long time. You should be able to expel her expeditiously. It is ridiculous if she gets to keep on serving. Like, absolutely asininely crazy. But also, maybe one of the things you could get people to understand is that you could be like, guys, FEMA were the people who declined to give any kind of aid to Trump supporters. Therefore, FEMA good. Therefore, her taking money from FEMA that denied money to Trump supporters means she actually is supporting the Trump supporters. Why would you vote for someone like that? Maybe you have to play that like 7-dimensional retard chess underwater in order to get people to understand how bad this is. And then on November 20th, he was like, "On second thought, I've decided to skip censure and move straight to expulsion. Defrauding the federal government and disaster victims of $5 million is an automatic disqualifier from serving in elected office." As it should be. It shouldn't take like 1 million resolutions and like 75 million public employee hours to get rid of someone who stole $5 million. Cherfilus-McCormick needs to be swiftly removed from the House before she can inflict any more harm on Congress, her district, and the state of Florida. I'll be filing the resolution today. If she refuses to resign and save Congress the embarrassment of having to expel her, I will bring this resolution to the floor for a vote. And I don't know how long. How sure are we that expulsion is the right call before the full investigation wraps up? Unless this guy is calling for her to, like, be jailed for even longer than the 50 whatever years, or he's calling for something even more severe, I don't want to fucking hear it. The resolution providing for the expulsion of Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick from the U.S. House of Reps, which, like, I would love to see this go through. I would love to see it go through, but who knows where it even is at this moment. It says, following indictment, Florida Dem escapes expulsion vote, at least for a time. Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick has escaped an expulsion vote for now. The Florida Democrat was indicted by the Justice Department on Wednesday evening on charges of stealing emergency disaster funding to enrich her family and underwrite her campaign. Cherfilus-McCormick has denied the charges, of course, but that did nothing to discourage Rep. Greg Staub, we read that, a fellow Floridian, from introducing a resolution to eject her from Congress. Hours later, Staub's office said he would give McCormick an adequate window of time to resign from Congress on her own before moving to force a vote. In an interview with Politico, he put a finer point on the timeline, saying the window would close after the House Ethics Committee, which has been investigating Cherfilus-McCormick for years, releases its findings. If they've already been investigating her for years, how soon are they releasing their findings is my question here, Mr. McMahons. Why would you back off? This is why people start hating Republicans, because you make a good show of I'm going to do thing, and then you don't make a show while saying actually I'm not really going to do thing quite yet. I'm gonna wait for a very long time, and then maybe if it's a good time I'll do thing, but like maybe that good time never happens. The strategy mirrors the process that followed the indictment of former Rep. George Santos, Republican New York, who remained in Congress for months after the charges were filed, only to be expelled by lawmakers in both parties in late 2023 after the Ethics Committee had unveiled a damning report. He also should have been removed immediately, but like, for months, man? You let them stay there for months? Again, I'm reminded of that article we read about the Supreme Court Justice in New Hampshire, who people voted to give back her fucking license or whatever, and she's going to finish out her term, even though she said, pinky swear, guys, I'm not actually gonna bench any cases. Like, why did she get her shit back after trying to influence a fucking case for her husband? Like, everything everywhere is just corrupt, and I'm tired of it. The head-snapping developments mean that the long list of resolutions rebuking lawmakers for questionable behavior that came to the House floor over the last 2 days won't get longer, at least not this week. It also highlights the tensions that have captured the lower chamber, where partisan bickering is off the charts, and some lawmakers are now pushing for reforms to make it tougher for lawmakers to discipline their colleagues. There's already nearly next to no fucking punishment for people committing fraud. And they want to make it more difficult to bring charges? Are you kidding me? The tree thirsts. Yeah. Cherfilus-McCormick has long been a subject of an ethics investigation into her campaign finances, but that saga escalated exponentially on Wednesday evening when the Justice Department indicted her on charges that she funneled a mistaken $5 million payment from federal disaster funds through a family-owned healthcare company to enrich family members and friends. She also used the money to fund her 2021 congressional campaign, the indictment charges. Cherfilus-McCormick has strongly denied the charges, and her office issued a statement on Thursday, slamming the Trump administration for pursuing them. What are all of these people going to do when Trump is no longer in office and they don't have someone that they can scapegoat to, like an army of reeing retards? Oops, I sent $5 million to my family who gave it back to me. Oops. Ever have a mistaken $5 million just appear in your account and kill us? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like, for all of, like, the inaction and for more that I wish would be happening from Trump and his cabinet, if I didn't vote for him, I shudder to think what would be happening right now with Democrats having control of everything. And I shudder to think if we manage to lose the next presidential election, because, All of these Republicans being like, but if we do things, think of how Democrats will use it against us. Yeah, I don't really care, because they're going to do way worse regardless of what you do. She said, this is an unjust, baseless, sham indictment, and I am innocent, the statement read. The timing alone is curious and clearly meant to distract from far more pressing national issues. I hate this woman. From day one, I have fully cooperated with every lawful request, and I will continue to do so until this matter is resolved. Stobe wasted no time responding to the indictment by promising to force a censure resolution to the floor. A day later, he heightened the stakes by introducing his expulsion resolution. We read his tweet already. Democrats have rallied behind Cherfilus-McCormick, of course, not in defense of the alleged crimes, but to emphasize that she has a right to make her case in a court of law. Sheila is entitled to the presumption of innocence like every other American. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, D. New York, told reporters in the Capitol. She's entitled to her day in court, and she's entitled to a jury of her peers. We're going to follow the facts and be guided by the law. In the meantime, Cherfilus-McCormick has stepped down from her spot as the senior Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee's subcommittee on the Middle East and North Africa, a move dictated by the House Democrats' internal rules. Representative Yvette Clarke, I recognize that name, unfortunately, D. New York, the head of the Congressional Black Caucus, where Cherfilus-McCormick is a member, said the group is standing by her while the legal process plays out. We want to wait to see how it's adjudicated, Clarke said. She has the presumption of innocence, and we stand with her. Rep. John Larson, D. Connecticut, was among the long list of Democrats voicing trust in the legal system to resolve this case. Yes, I trust that a Democrat won't be found guilty of any kind of fraud. But he also acknowledged that such episodes are always a stain on Congress and erode the faith of the public in the nation's institution. Is there even any faith left to erode at this point? What did he mean by this? It's never good news, Larson said. Everyone's entitled to their day in court, but on the face of it, it's horrific when you hear things like these. So yes, the public is going to have a reaction. Erode my patience, that's what. Yeah, pretty much. Missouri judge loses job for routinely wearing Elvis wig on the bench and playing his music at hearings. A Missouri judge has lost his job for repeatedly making irrelevant Elvis Presley references during hearings, playing his music at swearings-in, and even wearing an Elvis wig, along with other bizarre behavior on the bench, according to court papers. Literally the least schizophrenic judge serving right now. St. Charles County Circuit Judge Matthew Thornhill resigned Friday after a disciplinary committee found he routinely sported the Elvis-style pompadour wig and aviator sunglasses, along with his robe while making rulings around the Halloween season. It was even Halloween season! What the fuck do you mean? Let the man wear a fucking silly wig! Let the man wear silly wig if he's doing his fucking job correctly, instead of letting this poor mental health man is incapable of living in society. Let's release him for the 7 millionth time to strike fear and murder onto the citizenry. Let him wear the fucking wig. I don't care. I don't care about the fucking wig. While rocking the King costume, he allegedly had a strange Elvis-centric swearing-in process. Thornhill would let litigants and or witnesses select how they would be sworn in prior to testifying, the court papers state. You probably shouldn't fuck with the swearing-in process, to be fair. I'll agree with them on this one. One option involved Thornhill playing Elvis Presley music from his phone. He would refer to Elvis Presley during court proceedings, such as referring to Elvis Presley's date of birth or death when such statements were irrelevant to the proceedings before the court. The rock and roll loving judge ultimately failed to maintain order and decorum in the courtroom, the Missouri Commission on Retirement, Removal, and Discipline found. Again, he probably shouldn't be fucking playing with the swearing in of witnesses. But how much do you expect me to care if he's not letting gajillion million repeat violent offenders out? Like, on a scale of letting offenders out, this is so low on the priority. Thornhill was also found to have mentioned his preferred candidates for an election to multiple people in court. Okay, you can't do that, sir. Sir, you can't do that. Violating rules prohibiting political activity in the courtroom. You can't, sir. Sir's out here wilding, man. The commission found that Thornhill once hand-delivered a personal reference to a judge in a case involving parental rights and the adoption of a child, breaking a rule that forbids judges from appearing as character witnesses. This man is just racking up infringements. Like, if it was just the silly wig, I would continue to just be angry, but man, what the fuck is you doing? I still don't care as much as I do about people letting out repeat criminal offenders. But like, bro, contain yourself. Asked about his Elvis shtick, Thornhill said the wig and music were meant to add levity and relax litigants, but he now realizes how it disturbed the serious nature of the court proceedings, court papers said. Thornhill ultimately agreed to a 6-month unpaid suspension, followed by a non-revocable resignation. He will then be banned from holding any future judicial offices in Missouri. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. If we're gonna ban this guy from holding any future judicial offices, can we do that to all of the judges who have let out the repeat violent offenders? If we can do it to Elvis Presley fucking making a mockery of the court with all of his other shit that he did, can we get rid of the other judges, please, for the love of fuck? That would be nice. Why a suspension just to get fired later? I don't know. Having a 6-month unpaid suspension followed by a resignation seems a little silly. Why not just have him resign immediately, I guess? I don't really understand why they did the unpaid suspension. That's kind of weird. Maybe it's some sort of like removing judges' laws that I don't know about, you know? Probably for his retirement so he can finish a full year of service. He shouldn't get that if he's being removed for not being able to do the job. Minnesota Police Chief O'Hara asks for forgiveness for exposing the reality of Somali criminal activity in Minneapolis. He has a Somalian translator as he apologizes for enforcing the law. This entire thing is insane.
community hadda caruurteena inaan garab istaagno chiefkana waa u baahannahay annagana waa isku baahannahay
ashaano kamida odayaasha community Soomaaliyeed iyo waalidiinta magaalada.
There's not subtitles, so I can't even translate for you audio only bros. I'm sorry. I can't understand Star Wars speak.
The Somali community here in Minneapolis has been welcoming and has shown love towards me, and I appreciate it. Over the last 3 years, we have been working together to try and address some of the real serious problems that we have in our community. We have to be honest at times with the problems that we're having in our community, and we need our community to help us fix them.
Honesty coming out of anyone in charge of Minneapolis? That's a fucking joke.
Those problems together because it's real and it's serious. At the same time, if people have taken anything that I have said out of context in a way that's caused harm, I apologize and I'm sorry for that because that's not my intention at all.
Imagine apologizing for enforcing the law and showing how much fucking fraud is going on in your city. Fucking imagine, brother. Why do people abuse their power so much? Has nobody ever heard with great power comes great responsibility? Apparently not, because even Discord servers do allow unban requests because there's no repercussions. When was the last time any of these politicians or people in power had repercussions for anything? They can just keep lying and keep taking advantage of everyone because nothing ever happens. November 21st, because people are retarded, students in Wake Forest, North Carolina performed a walkout yesterday in response to immigration operations in the state. I don't know why students would do this, but also remember how many arrests they were making in Charlotte to the point where like even traffic was way less congested. More ICE arrests, more ICE detainments, deport entire families together, get them out. Is this not racist to play this music for an ICE protest? Am I crazy? Why would you do that? This music is definitely DMCA. Oh, Ziz, you're gonna have to edit it out. But there's a school walkout. And then we have this tweet a little later in the day. Let's look at this video. A student who partook in the walkouts protesting ICE revealed.
Guys, We're documenting history, and guess what? The only the only people that stayed back from the protest were white people. I literally looked at every single person in there. They were all white. But we're doing it. No, because am I right or not? I have evidence, MJ. And
So what you're saying is that the white people stayed behind to stay in their classes and continue their school day instead of skipping classes to go protest to keep criminals in the country? That's a really interesting observation you made there, lady, but I don't think it's the observation that you thought you were making. Looks like we need more ice in that area. How to say you're racist without saying you're racist? I'm pretty sure she's one of the people who would say that you can't be racist to white people, because that's how racists always speak. Your question is, where are the parents of these students? Probably fucking not doing anything. It's also tiresome.